Hello! So this video is on dividing with fractions. Woohoo! So hopefully you already know how to multiply with fractions. If you don't know how to multiply with fractions, go and watch a video on multiplying by fractions. Okay? And hopefully you've gone through the PowerPoints as well, so you understand why I'm going to do what I'm doing. I'm just going through the this is how you do it kind of process. Okay, so fractions, dividing. Let's start with whole numbers involved. Okay, so there's one rule that you need, and I'm going to change colour for this. K, F, C. Okay, we write it like that so you don't forget it. Keep, flip, change. Okay, so you keep the first fraction the same. You flip the second fraction upside down, and you change the sign to times. Okay, and then you already know how to times fractions. So let's do an example of dividing with fractions. So I'm going to start off with a whole number and a fraction. So let's say if I say 3 divided by 2/5. Okay, so I keep the first fraction the same. So I'm going to keep that 3 the same. I'm going to flip the second fraction upside down. So this one here, instead of being a 2/5, I'm going to flip it upside down. Now it's a 5/2. Then I'm going to change the sign to times. So instead of a divide, I'm going to times. Now if we remember our timesing, 3 times 5 is 15. So it's 15/2. And I can leave it like that. I can turn it into a mixed fraction, whatever you want to do with it. Okay, it depends on the question. So that's one with a whole number. Let's do another one. Let's do 3/4 divided by 5. Okay, so this is slightly different. So I keep the first fraction the same. So keep that the same, 3/4. I flip the second fraction upside down. That's not a fraction. What can I do to the 5 to turn it into a fraction? Well, what I can do is I can put it over the number 1. And I talked about a little bit about it in multiplying. Okay, so I can flip this upside down. So instead of 5/1, 5 divided by 1 is just 5, so that's why it works. So it's 1/5, and I change the sign to times. Then I times. 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 5 is 20. So my answer is 3/20. Let's keep going. I'm going to do 2 normal fractions together now. So I'm going to go 4/7 divided by 3/5. So I keep the first fraction, 4/7. I flip. So keep, flip, change, keep, flip, change, KFC. I flip the second fraction, 5/3. I change the sign. 4 times 5 is 20. 7 times 3 is 21. Done. What if it's got mixed numbers in? Okay, so let's say I've got 3/3 divided by 2/5. So I keep to the rules. Keep the first fraction the same, 3/3. Flip the second fraction upside down. The 5 goes on top of the 2 now. Change the sign. Then I look back, I'd watch my multiplying videos. I turn this into an improper fraction. 3 times 3 is 9 plus 1 is 10, so it's 10/3 times 5/2. 10 times 5 is 50. 3 times 2 is 6, so it's 50/6. I can cancel that down, so it's 25/3 because they're both divisible by 2 because they're both even. Then I can turn it into a mixed number after that. Okay. Last one then, I'm going to do 4.5 divided by 1 and 3/7. Keep, flip, change. So keep the first fraction, 4.5. Flip the second fraction upside down. Right. Can't do that yet because I've got this 1 here. So if I flipped it now, when I did other stuff to it, it changed kind of the value that it's worth. So I'm going to turn this into a top heavy now. So if I'm turning that into top heavy now, I may as well turn this one into top heavy now. So I'm just going to rewind a second. So 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9, so that's 9/2. Divided by 1 times 7 is 7, plus the 3 is 10. 10/7. So now I can keep flip change. So keep, flip, change. Now I can times. 9 times 7 is what? 63. 2 times 10, 20. Again, then you can cancel it. You can't cancel it down, but you can turn it into a mixed number. So hopefully that's just cleared up some of your questions. What you've got to do now is practice, 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 get it stuck in your head. Okay? So have a lovely time playing around, multiplying and dividing the fractions.